Okay, while my panelists settle in, quickly I'll set the context, I'll set the backdrop, and I'll quickly talk about a couple of things which have come from a GIFT IFSC standpoint in the current budget, which will be of interest to all of you. And then we will go to the panel questions. We all know about GIFT City. I will not spend too much of time on what is GIFT City. I think a lot of that has been already said, and we'll have some questions for the panelists here. It has unique infrastructure. We know about IFSC. It is the International Financial Service Center, which is the first of its kind in India. There are a lot of business which is already operational here. And specifically, let's dive into what's there as far as the ship leasing framework is concerned. And as far as the authority is concerned, they have come out with a ship leasing framework which allows you to do finance lease, operating lease. All of that is something which is permitted from a so you can do core activities, which is core activity includes finance lease. You can do lending, you can borrow from banks, all of that is permitted. If you're doing operating lease, you will be classified as non-core activity. And when I talk about operating lease and finance lease broadly from a shipping world, if you are doing BBCD, it will be finance lease. But if you are doing just a time charter or a voyage charter, it will all fall under the second non-core basket. Broadly, that's how the framework is. A couple of advantages of why you would look at GIFT City. One, from a ROFR standpoint, and if you compare that with the foreign ship, and ship which is actually owned in GIFT City, it has from a right of first refusal standpoint, which we are familiar with. It has a higher order of priority compared to a foreign ship. So the Indian-owned ships come first. The ships in the DTA come first. The second order of priority is for GIFT City entities, and then it goes up. So that's an important enablement which has happened. Tax framework, maybe we can spend a few minutes as far as the tax framework is concerned. And specifically, if you look at what's the regime on offer, you have a 10-year tax holiday for the entity which is set up for presence in GIFT City. You get 10 consecutive years of tax holiday, and this you can choose out of the first 15 years. So whenever you come register, first 15 years you have the entire block, and you choose 10 consecutive years, and 100% of your profits are exempt. You are outside the FEMA zone, as we earlier also spoke about, and being outside the FEMA zone, if you are going to buy a ship and you are going to borrow, clearly the exchange control borrow, the ECB norms don't apply. So in terms of, for example, your ability to borrow at market rates is there, and also in terms of your ability to repay loans faster in case you have a good year. So we have had situations where people had good years and they wanted to actually repay, but because of ECB norms you cannot repay. All those restrictions don't apply. Again, in terms of cost of borrowing, because the banks are not chargeable to tax, or the foreign non-resident is not chargeable to tax when they are lending to you, the cost of borrowing is also much lesser as far as GIFT is concerned. And it's a GST-free zone, so no GST as far as those transactions are concerned. No stamp duty, specifically the Gujarat government has said no stamp duty on the say transactions or on the paperwork which you do. There is also an option after the 10-year tax holiday. There is an option available to you to go into tonnage tax if you're owning the ship. If you are not owning, but you are taking it on bareboat charter from a non-resident entity and then leasing it out. If you do it from India, there is always that risk of the income being characterized as royalty and therefore chargeable to tax. Here there is specific exemption saying that if you are taking the ship on bareboat charter, royalty is also not chargeable to tax. So that's something which is already there. Specifically, as far as this budget is concerned, there were certain thresholds which they had kind of sunset clauses which they had put, saying that these benefits will not be available if you don't set up the presence before 25. That has got extended by 5 years. Now this regime is available for entities which can be set up to 2030. So that's one important change. Secondly, even capital gains. If you are going to have a capital gain during the tax holiday period, that's also exempt from tax. You don't need to pay tax on the sale of ship. And more importantly, this is something which has come in the budget, which is kind of exciting. That apart from the capital gains which you earn on the ships, if you are now also allowed to have, say, SPV type structures, and any upstreaming of income from the SPV to the holdco within Ifsc is exempt from tax. If you have any sale of, if you have non-resident shareholders and they are going to sell the shares of the either the SPV or the holdco, even they are going to be exempted from tax for a period of 10 years from the date of commencement. So there is an exemption which is available for the non-resident on sale of ships or on sale of shares. The on sale of ships, the entity which is holding the ship will also get a tax holiday. So it's a very attractive regime which is available, and that's something which entities are kind of looking at in use. As far as the last point is concerned, dividend any upstream, dividend is subject to tax at 10% under domestic law, and it is hand tax in the hands of the non-resident. So that with that background, I just thought I'll set that background before I dive into the questions to my panelist here. So maybe I just go here and start my questions with Mr. Ashutosh Sharma. He is from IFSCA, and he's been there the entire journey, right from the time when IFSCA was set up. He has been in the forefront as far as regulation is concerned, as far as development is concerned. So sir, I want to bring you in here, and if you can kind of lay the overall, say, background about what IFSC is, what are the benefits, how is the ecosystem developing as far as generally about with banks, other players, and specifically with respect to shipping industry. If you can just give us some color about what's happening.
Thank you, Suresh. First, thanks very much for organizing this very quality relevant people in the room. I think we had very good interactions today. Thanks for organizing this. Chairperson covered GIFT IFSC, I think in 10-15 minutes, and he detailed out the perspective that you are bringing to the table. The idea is we summarize it in onshore to offshore, and whatever business has gone out can be bring it back in. And we thought that some of the industries, Indian banks, for example, before GIFT IFSC came in, the situation was that Indian companies cannot open foreign currency account. So while it looks like a very small enabler that in GIFT IFSC you can open foreign currency account, but biggest challenge was that all the Indian companies, Indian banks, Indian funds, Indian investors who want to deal in foreign currency, they had to necessarily move out of the country, and they moved out to other jurisdictions. But while we look at different ecosystem, we looked at initially we started with BFSI, what we call is we looked at banks, capital market, insurance, fund industry, and we said how we can bring into GIFT IFSC. Our approach was that we looked at two parts of it. One is India is trying to develop a GIFT IFSC, a financial service center. We call it IFSC, globally it is GFC, what everyone calls Global Financial Center. And when we think of Global Financial Center, we thought that what are the key areas which make a GFC successful? Why industries are happening, why Singapore is successful, why Hong Kong is successful? I think it's a triangulated matter. One, either it is the regulatory enablers or it is the taxation enablers, and third could be the ease of doing business, which cannot be stressed enough. So these are the areas which in GIFT IFSC we also looked at. So we certainly started with the core financial sector, and it has grown decently well. With now we have 30 banks, and when I was having meeting with shipping industry, they were referring to German bank, they're talking about the French, they were talking about other European banks. all of these banking, including Deutsche, the soft assets of the world, have established or establishing GIFT IFSC, the BNP Paribas, Stan Chartered, HSBC. So, well, all the banks are there. What we are trying to bring now is that we are trying to bring the broader ecosystems. For example, they have a specialist team, the shipping team in Singapore as a solution. We are encouraging those financial institutions to also bring in such a specialist into the ecosystem, and it's work in progress. But parallelly, what is happening is, see, I think the approach in GIFT FSC, I will try to kind of shipping is that we are trying to see that not while we enable the regulation for ship leasing and financing, but we are looking at it from an ecosystem perspective. And when we look at ecosystem perspective, what are different parts required for it? And we look at different part. The first part that came out is the financing. And the financing by whom? I think financing by domestic capital. Can we increase the participation of domestic capital? And the way GIFT FSC is developing right now, where the foreign capital is coming, they are giving their skills and they're brushing off in the domestic capital, and they are also taking participation in this. A good example of this could be we started shipping started a bit later because 2020 IFSCA came in. We established the banks and other ecosystem, and then 2021, 2022 is when aviation came in first in GIFT IFSC, and then we picked up the shipping. So in aviation ecosystem, what we have seen now that we have seen Indian banks also participating in aviation financing. Now in shipping also we are seeing the ship financing coming into picture. So I think ecosystem is decent, but it's developing in the right direction.
So why do you think entities in say shipping entities should come to GIFT City, and why should they set up there in terms of financing, which you have touched upon? Are there opportunities, or are there say low cost of financing which is available in GIFT City, which entities can tap?
Why they should come? I think they should come because you convince them well in the presentation. I think they should know by now why they should come. But what I will say, one of my favorite lines is that world has never seen a financial center with the cost structure of GIFT IFSC. A jurisdiction where you have dollar revenues, no tax, and rupee cost structures. Very cost effective jurisdiction, which is going to give a very competitive structures to not serve only India but world. So if you are thinking of a business at scale, not only to serve India but globally also, I think this scale can be done at very competitive cost in GIFT IFSC. But when you think of the shipping industry, I think one is, what are they coming to GIFT for? First, they will like to come into GIFT for India business. And when they are coming for India business, we realize that India business, either the different parts of India business, everyone here is aware of ROFR, right of first refusal. But the psychology with which IFSC is working, along with Government of India, is that how to maximize India's part in India's business. So one key number which is anchored in my mind is that about 95% of India's trade happening through maritime, and 95% of India's maritime trade happening on foreign ships. So that almost 80%, 85% of rental we are paying out outside the country. Can it be better utilized to foreign companies coming into GIFT, developing the ecosystem? So I think, so idea is, can we make, what do we need? We do not need to follow the iron stick approach there. I think what we need to do is we need to make the ecosystem competitive organically so much that the capital comes into GIFT IFSC. What are different ways to do it? One of the first step that was taken was on right of first refusal, where we mentioned that domestic companies certainly get the first right, IFSC companies the second right, and then the foreign companies. What it will ensure is that a lot of Indian capital which is invested into India, their rights will be protected this way, so that they have the first right everywhere. And the capacities can come into GIFT IFSC by domestic companies and by foreign companies also can bring into GIFT IFSC under India flag. It will increase the tonnage under India flag, and it will also help them to grow India business. And then the same companies can also do the foreign business. So they can have two kind of structures in GIFT IFSC. One, they can own the ships in GIFT, which has to be right now necessary in India flag. I know you will ask about foreign, everyone asks about the foreign, but right now
there's one experience of what's happening with foreign flag.
I'll come to that, towards your question later. But yes, I think what we are trying to do is make it competitive for India, but enable the policies in a manner that you should be able to serve the world from IFSC. And if we do that, I think company will come here. I realize that other countries have done it very well, but the same countries are right now, or companies are seeing the cost pressures as well. So there's an opportunity. Second thing that we need to work for is the financing part, on which we are working. I think government has certainly announced something on the domestic side. We need to bring that financing capacity to fund structure in GIFT IFSC as well. And I think some of the private credit players which are in global ecosystem, we will engage with them also to come to GIFT IFSC. We will work on those places. In terms of foreign flag, right now I think companies can do, they can own the ships, but that ship has to be developed. They can charter in ships or lease in ships under foreign flag and then charter that out. Industry has come to us many times that they are going out of the country in other countries because they want to own the ships under foreign flags, which comes with a lot of advantages with the financing, etc. etc. And IFSCA is of the view that if that is the right thing, it can help Indian companies become globally competitive. Because even at this scale of economy of country, we do not see here of any Indian company which is big in shipping. Probably we need to find or some policy initiative that we need to take so that those companies can become globally competitive. So our view is that probably foreign flag need to be enabled in IFSC, but it need to be done in the rightful manner. So we need to take a view from the Ministry Government of India, shipping, and certainly the industry domestic side also, so that it's a consensual discussions. So discussions are going on this. We'll see in what manner and where it has to be.
Let me just come to Shekar. Shekar, we all talk about IFSC. We all think when we come there, we get some of government giving some gift in terms of taxation and all that. But can you just tell us, first of all, about the city, the infrastructure, the hard infrastructure which you have built, and then what's the other ecosystem which is building? For example, ancillary ecosystem is building, and you have states, and you also have, say, the maritime universities. Can you just tell us about what's there, again, from a shipping industry standpoint?
Thank you, Suresh, for the question. Firstly, I'd like to congratulate Marine Money for hosting the second Marine Money India Summit in Mumbai. And I would also like to invite Kevin and Andrews to host the third summit, possibly in GIFT City. So we can have all of you at GIFT City. So in terms of the city, the infrastructure which is coming up in GIFT City is very unique, because it's the first operational smart city of India, which was conceptualized way back in 2007. Post that, the government, what they did is that they went to different centers to study that what are the best possible infrastructural merits which can be incorporated within the city to attract the companies to establish themselves in GIFT City. So as Ashutosh sir covered that there are three pillars on which the success of a financial sector depends. He missed the fourth pillar, which is the infrastructure. So even that is a key enabler for a success of a financial sector. In terms of the project, it's a greenfield project which is built from scratch. So way back in 2007 to 2011 was a completely barren wasteland with heaps of hills piling up there. In 2011, the work started in terms of getting the land and giving it to a company which is GIFT Company Limited. So GIFT City is basically a public sector undertaking by government of Gujarat, which then started the development of the city from scratch. As on date, what has been done? So we have 23 buildings which are operational within the city. 37 buildings are under construction at this stage. So probably in next 3 years, we'll have a completely different skyline of the city. what is existing over the ground, under the ground there's an equal infrastructure which is constructed, which is the utility tunnel. So from the shipping industry, probably when you visit the city, when you visit the tunnel, you'll get a visual of a shipping where all the utilities are there in terms of your electrical wirings, in terms of your ICT cables, in terms of waste collection. So everything is situated underground in a 7 meter by 7 meter wide tunnel. On top of that, we have a centralized chilling plant for the entire city, which is again a green concept. We don't use any gases to supply, to generate chilling basically in the city. It's all done through chilled water technology. We are a zero discharge city. We don't waste any drop of water. We utilize every drop of it. In terms of garbage collection also, you won't find any human intervention for collecting the waste, or you won't find any garbage trucks moving around the city. It's all done again through the waste collection facility. And we also have...
Shekar, from a shipping standpoint, what is the ecosystem?
From the shipping standpoint, I'd like to cover that not only ship leasing is enabled there, but from an overall ecosystem, we have banks, insurance companies, we have ancillary service providers like tax consultants, legal advisors, who can help the shipping players to come set up their, help them operationalize their unit. Even from talent perspective, we have 4 foreign universities who have set up, 2 have already set up their campuses in GIFT City, 2 are in the process of setting up. From the domestic standpoint, we have Gujarat Maritime University, which is in the near proximity of GIFT City. So you get the right kind of talent. We have signed an MOU with GMU. They have launched a curriculum dedicated to the shipping framework on GIFT IFSC, which helps you with your compliance part. So from talent perspective also, it is very well incorporated within the city. So all in all, it's an integrated model.
Gujarat Maritime Cluster sitting in your office, just above your office as well.
Yes.
As a cluster.
So that's the first of its kind cluster that has come up. So Gujarat Maritime Cluster, it has the entire value chain being covered, right from ship building to ship financing to insurance to leasing to ship recycling and ship breaking as well. So there are many members who are registered with the Gujarat Maritime Cluster as well. So as a company, when you come in, so you get everything under one roof. Even from the regulatory standpoint, there is a single window clearance system which is enabled in the city.
When is DG Shipping setting up their office?
So DG Shipping is already set up their office in GIFT City, which is also located in GIFT House, which is the administrative building for the entire city. They're already live. They have stationed 2 officers as of now. They are currently under the process of taking manpower approval from the government of India. Soon we'll have a full-fledged office of DG Shipping also.
So coming back to you, sir, I think I am conscious of time, but for people who have not visited Ifsc, for people who have not looked at the shipping, say, framework, if you have to tell them what's in store and why they should come and why they should visit, what will you say?
I have said enough, but I'll just suggest you one thing, that whoever in the room, I think IFSC as a regulator is a very different regulator which engages very closely with the industry, and we are focusing a lot on enabling thought processes how to make India competitive and self-reliant and go global. And from that perspective, if you have any solution, any problem statement in your mind, where you think that IFSC can play a role. We heard a few suggestions today, whether it comes to ROFR. We even received some proposal from the Greece in terms of, for example, how can India ship breaking be integrated better into Europe. While it isn't, it is not relevant directly from IFSCA, but because of our proximity and our engagement with the Secretary Shipping, Ministry of Shipping, we have a voice there, so we reach out to them. So if you think that there is anything relevant that you think is required to make this industry competitive, we'd like to listen to you. Only request is that it should be qualified inputs, and we are ready to work with you on that. I think with that kind of comfort coming from the regulator, you have right reasons to come there and explore. Ship is not all about shipping. I think as Shekar mentioned that if you are into investment, if you are into advisory, if you are into financing, GIFT IFSC will plug you into one or the other segments. IFSC being a unified regulator, so I represent the development team in GIFT IFSC. So a regulator having a development team in India is unique. And what we do, we engage in the industry, consultative. Ideally, our aim, if it given to me, is that ideally the likes of PwC should have no business in GIFT, so that we make it so easy and simple.
Yes, sir.
But then you are tax advisory, so we always
making my life very difficult already.
no. So I think we are very approachable, and the ecosystem GIFT IFSC is developing. And Shekar has proposed that come down there. I think on 7th of March we are organizing an aviation summit along with Ministry of Civil Aviation. And it started with these kind of discussions when airline economy came into India, and we said that we should have an event along with that. And this 7th March, Minister of Civil Aviation will come down, and he will spend the entire day with the global investors in aviation. And we are very happy to think and structure something like that even for shipping, where IFSCA Shipping Ministry can discuss with the entire industry with global investors and work on them. You are all welcome for that. We'll keep you informed.
So I think with that, I will call this session to a close. I think thank you so much, Mr. Ashutosh Sharma and Shekar, for taking time. For the audience, we are all available during lunchtime. If you have any specific questions, any comments, then I will encourage you to please reach out to the panelist here. I can also contribute, comment on some of these matters, but I think you have the main people here for the regulatory side itself. So please feel free to reach out, and happy to keep the conversation on as far as this engineering topics. Thank you so much.